Hey, you guys, we are in Elia's room today. I love it in here. So, last week of August, we have been building towards an eclipse. I hope that you've been paying attention for the last 2 weeks while we've been in this sort of eclipse bubble, if you will, portal. But first, Tuesday, August 25th, Mercury goes into Virgo for the rest of the month. So our communications now come through the lens of this very detail-oriented Earth sign. The sun just shifted into Virgo a couple days ago, and now our planet of communication is joining the sun. Our thoughts, our thought process, the way we speak, present themselves and come through this lens of Virgo where we want and we have an easier time paying attention to the details of things. Intellectual follow through. We have this mental capacity. Our mentality and intellect speeds up when Mercury is in his home sign of Virgo. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. When we speak, we want details. We don't want to leave out the important bits and pieces. We can be hypercritical with the way that we speak, or people are hypercritical to us. We're very speedy. We don't have time for slow talk, slow intellect. Let's get to the point already. And let's do it with poise, and let's do it with excellence, and let's do it with perfection. If you're somebody who does public speaking or has to write an essay and present it in some way, we are very particular right now, and we're wanting to get it right. We're taking a lot of notes. We're showing up very prepared for the things that we have to speak to in the conversations that we have to have. And let's talk about this full moon coming in. This full moon is an eclipse this week, Thursday, August 27th, 4 degrees of Pisces. First things first, you take 4 degrees of Pisces, you plug it into your own chart, and you see what house it occupies. Those topics of that house become a huge point of interest for this particular eclipse. The eclipse will be exact at 9:18 p.m. Pacific. It's really going to affect Pisces, especially Pisces born between February 20th and February 26th. Bloop, right on your head, this eclipse. Pay attention to what is surfacing and what has surfaced the last couple of weeks. Gemini and Sagittarius, this full moon eclipse can be a little bit challenging for you guys, especially Gemini born between May 23rd and May 29th, and especially Sagittarius born between November 24th and November 30th. Pisces isn't the easiest sign for you to understand. Gemini and Sag, you guys are fire and air, and here comes this very sensitive, slow-moving, wishy-washy, dreamy Pisces, and you guys are like, what the heck? So when we have this full moon in Pisces, there is this essence of really dreaming the dream and really dropping into your intuition, your heart space, the dreams in your heart. It's a very sensitive full moon to be under because an eclipse is coming in, so everything can feel heightened, everything can feel sped up. Our sensitivities, we can get triggered much easier. We can be very emotional under this moon. And all the while, we are not looking for the details. We're not looking at the spreadsheets. We're not looking for the facts. We're dropping into our intuition, our gut instincts, and what our heart is telling us. That is what you want to do under this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse, because that is what will not lead you astray. We have this immense psychic gift as human beings, and sometimes the world gets in the way of that. And under this full moon in Pisces, we want to go back to the heart. We want to go back to our sensitivities. We want to emote and have emotion under this particular eclipse. In fact, we probably can't help it. Then Friday, August 28th, we have a funny little day. The sun in Virgo is being squared by Uranus over in Gemini. So we have what I call a Uranian day, Friday, August 28th, 3:19 p.m. This will be exact. Expect the unexpected. Uranus brings in a shock factor. Uranus brings in something unplanned, something we weren't aware of. And Uranus pops it into our lives and says, surprise, and how are you going to work with this? Because it's a square, it can be a little bit uncomfortable. I want you guys to practice going with the flow, bending with the wind, doing your grounding practices, because when Uranus squares the sun, there can be a chaotic energy. We can feel a little bit destabilized, a little bit rocky. The foundations that we have built, they're shaking a little bit in order to wake us up to something new, something unexpected. And it could be very inspiring and motivating, but it does have this, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen today, or I didn't know I was going to receive that text today. Uranus wants us to be able to let go of the old and move in the new direction, to be completely spontaneous, to think outside of the box, to color outside of the lines. So the more that we can do that today, the more we are going to be in alignment with the sky. All right, you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll be back in September.